Good afternoon. My name is Sibylle Dienesch. I'm the director of the Graz Museum. I feel very honored to welcome you all at the opening of the exhibition Longings, which was conceptualized and realized in the frame of the EU project Dialog City. Longings is also a part of the hybrid festival, which takes place at the Graz Museum and the Stadtarchiv Graz. And allow me to say it is one of the many highlights we have experienced since Thursday. A very warm welcome to the artist Lenka Holíková and to all the people who shared their time and their intimate experience with Lenka and thus with us all. Lenka's touching work would not have been possible without your contribution. Thank you very much. Welcome also to Stefan Horn. Stefan Horn is the artistic coordinator of the project. Graz Museum and Stadtarchiv Graz are in the middle of a democratization process aiming to open up the institutions for all city residents and to becoming more inclusive. Following this approach, we focus on topics that address contemporary social-cultural issues. In our daily lives, we are all challenged to deal with the increasing complexity of a late modern society. May it be topics such as climate change, digitalization, or migration, just to name a few. Good coexistence in the city concerns us all. Lenka Holíková chose to work on the topic of forced, and this is important to say, forced migration during her short 6 weeks long residency. Forced migration, by definition, is a migratory movement in which an element of coercion exists, including threats to life and livelihood, whether arising from natural or man-made causes. But what does this mean in concrete terms for people who decide to leave their home for these reasons? How does this affect their lives in a new place? What do they bring with them and what have they left behind? And finally, what does this mean for our coexistence in the city of Graz? Lenka asked these and similar questions in her interviews and brought them into the room in a very sensitive and precise artistic work. For me, it is an impulse to reflect and develop empathy for other realities and biographies. It allows a close and differentiated perspective on the so often contested topic of migration. Allow me to close with a wish. May this exhibition help to raise awareness for the complexity of the topic. May we, as an institution which aims to work in the service of society, be able to make a little contribution to better coexistence and social cohesion in Graz with this exhibition. Lenka, thank you so much for this amazing work, for your incredible engagement and for the wonderful cooperation. It's such a pleasure to work with you. Thank you very much. Before handing over to Stefan Horn, let me thank also all the other persons who have contributed to the exhibition. First of all, a special thanks to Jukus Ciala and Redna Domivka, who were helpful to collect Lenka with her interview partners. A big thank you to the organizers of the whole festival and also supporters of the project. I saw Wolfram Dornig and Amelie Raka doing everything which is needed to work on the exhibition to finish it off. Thank you very much also for you. Thank you to Stefan Horn, who helped us a lot in the process of the call for the residency and also in the decision making. And also for the project lead in the Dialog City project, the Stadt- und Staatsarchiv Aschaffenburg, there to Joachim Kemper. For the technical implementation here in the room, it was the responsibility of Edin Brynjavac and Herbert Fortin, and the exhibition design was made by Büro 41A Christina Zettel and Thomas Untersweg. Yeah. Thank you very much for being here with us, and I'll hand over to Stefan Horn to introduce us to the project and to the artistic work.
Thank you very much, Sibylle. My name is Stefan Horn, and you've already mentioned it. I'm the artistic coordinator of the Dialog City project, which is a project funded by the European Union within the Creative Europe program. It consists of several topics and pillars. We create a citizen archive platform. We're working on futures literacy. But the aim is to find an holistic approach when it comes to the digitalization of cities in Europe. And one part of this whole parcel of things that we are doing in 5 different countries and with 7 different partners is a series of artist residencies. So we started last year with the first residency in Mondovì, which was called News from Home, and we've been working with 2 artists from the Netherlands and from Australia, which is an arts couple, and they were working on a participatory approach on collecting images from the city of Mondovì. Which brings me to the whole idea of those artist residency program and the series of artist residencies in 4 different cities and 4 different countries. So it's always connected to the main topics, but we also thought maybe there is also a chance for artists to apply with some concepts which are key for us to understand our urban setup, urban population, and the problems that are still going on when it comes to urbanity. So it's a kind of emergency when it comes to topics that are popping up. And we've had more than 40 applications for the residency in Graz, and there was a kind of complex pre-selection, and later on we decided to go with Lenka because we still think that migration is a main topic when it comes to the European society as a whole, and also when we look into the city of Graz. And maybe let me close with just a reflection on what I've heard almost 4 weeks ago when I was in Athens, and I was together with some colleagues late at night, and one of the colleagues was from the Lebanon, and he was trying to explain to me that in Lebanon there are 4 million Lebanese people, but the diaspora of Lebanese people all over the world are 6 million. 3 of them are living in the US, 500,000 are living in the Arab Emirates, etc., etc. And then there was another colleague with me from Italy, and she said, well, we are 60 million, but our diaspora is 80 million. So that gives us an imagination that migration is not the exception to the rule. It's part of the whole setup of our societies that we are migrating through the last 5, 6, 2,000 years constantly. And what we are discussing right now is a little bit more complex than just figure out if this is gold card migration. Is this a person that is going to help to create jobs and to be part of the drive wheel of economy, or if it's forced migration, if there are needs for the individual to come to Graz or to other places. And I think we should be more aware of this kind of permanent transition of the humanity, and from the human perspective, that we are all traveling from one place to the next one. Some with good reasons, some with bad reasons, but it's always an individual approach for each and everybody. So I hand over to Lenka to explain us a little bit more about her work, and the title is Longings. Beautiful title. Okay, thank you.
So welcome everyone. Thank you very much for being here, and big thanks for this opportunity that I'm really grateful that I had and that I have. It was an awesome cooperation, and I really felt a big help from the part of Graz Museum and wonderful people who are working there. So big, huge thanks. And also big thanks, of course, of people who have been helping me with and sharing their intimate life experiences. Here we have Samba. I invited others, but I think they didn't have time to come. So thank you very much. Merci beaucoup, Samba. And it was really thanks to those people who permitted to enter in their private and sometimes very hurtful and very complicated human experiences. And that's how this project Longings was made. I have a deep interest in migration from like the human perspective, of course, from the art perspective. And just to explain why I do have this interest, I'm born in former Czechoslovakia, and you know that all our European history is always, let's say, interrupted, but by many political events. So in Czechoslovakia, it was, of course, the same. So I'm born 7 kilometers from Germany. So this thing of frontier, of migration, of political situation was always present. And I think that's why I'm interested in it since then and now more than ever. And with this possibility of approaching to the real stories, to the real lives, I felt so grateful that I can work about it and that I can express myself about it. It's really like a big honor that somebody opens and let you see, let you feel, and let you also touch the story and work with the story, because sometimes we don't want to share the most complicated things with the others because we are afraid, we are ashamed or whatever. So it was a big thing. And let's say that this is just the beginning. No, this is the beginning of the path that I had the possibility to start, but I know it will be a lot of work that will be done because this time was precious, and I did what I could, but I know I will do much more with that. And if I wouldn't have this possibility, I wouldn't have the feeling and the material to work with. So this is really, for me, it's big and it's very important. So again, thank you very much. And now I will be explaining a little bit what are the works about. So let's start with the stories. Here we have the stories transcription. I made the transcriptions of what people told me. So if you want, you are invited to check it. You can see I just tried to do it in a spontaneous way, and also like with imperfect writing, but also with imperfect English, because how you can hear, my English is not perfect. So it's how it is, how it goes. So it kind of reflects also this process. So if you want, you're welcome to check it, to read. Okay, so, and those stories that are here inspired all the rest of the production. Let's speak about the light boxes. So the light boxes are also inspired by each story, and you can see that it's the transparent paper that is superposing. And in the first paper, there is a representation of the space where people felt or experienced some heavy or complicated feelings. For example, when they have been listening to the bombarding, or when they have been crossing the frontier, they have been afraid of police or of any other problematic situation. So I choose those particular spaces or places, and I put like the body in a kind of protective position. So it's just a little symbolic representation of that, but how I already mentioned, it's just the first step that needs to be developed further, but yeah, it's like a visual commentary. Okay, so the light boxes, you can see them on 3 walls. The concept is the same. Here on the bench where some of you are sitting, which is quite okay. No, it's okay. You can see the headphones, and there are 3 different audios. 2 of them are registers of conversations we had with people, and one of them is music that Samba shared with me, and that is also the music that, how I understood, make him feel at home, or share something he actually likes to do, even here with his friends, etc. So all those things are connected also with Graz. I need to say also that during those stories, people have been telling how they have been accepted in Graz. And in all the cases, their experiences was really good. No? So it's also, I think it's important to say that Graz had like open arms and was able to accept people here in a very nice way, which, how everybody knows, it's not very common, and it's a nice thing to discover, let's say. Okay, here is the flag that is called Flag for Sudan. We made it like a result of conversations with people from Sudan, with Zainab and Mohammed, who helped me very much. And also this conversation was so important. It was so deep and so, like, in a way nice, even though the situation in Sudan, how we know, is not nice at all. So they are experiencing a kind of conflict, because you know that in our news we are listening about usually 2 conflicts, about Palestine and Ukraine, which is very important, but there are more conflicts that we don't know about. So they kind of feel, even they want us to know that Sudan exists, and they want us to know that what is happening in Sudan has the same relevance like any other conflict. So let's say that this flag, it's like a kind of monument, or it's a kind of like to say, hey, we exist. Hey, there's something happening there. So it's just because I had the information like few days ago. So it's like a beginning again of a work, of like some work in potential work. So we have been. They told me what to put, and I did put it. So it was also the conversation. I did it, but it's a result really of the dialogue between Zainab, Mohammed, and me. So how you can see, it starts with Sudanese flag, and it goes with, I don't know if I write it well, because it's in Arabic, and I don't speak or write Arabic. So they helped me to write it, and I just, after I reproduced it, so if it's not perfect, I'm sorry. Here is the perfect writing that inspired me. After we put those 2 bands of soldiers who are kind of making the conflict, but the interesting thing is there is no good side, you know? The 2 bands are the same evil, and people from Sudan usually they know it. So it's the complicated thing, you don't have where to go, because both sides are complicated. And then I put some numbers. It's also the reflection about the numbers. I think it's important. Those are numbers of people who have who left Sudan, who suffered violence, who have been killed, who have been raped. I think that the important thing is to speak about the rape, and they told me how the rape. I know that this is very complicated things to say, but I also promised them that I will mention it, and I think that it's kind of my due. I need to do it because it was a promise, and they gave me something, and I need to give something back. So I promised to speak a little bit about it, and also about the rape, that for them, even the numbers that we have, and they are very high, imagine it's not the real numbers, because in the culture, for a woman to say I was raped it's big shame for her, for the family. So, they told me it can be even less than 50% of the true numbers. So I think that my responsibility now is just to say, hey, Sudan exists and something is happening, and what's happening is not good at all, and we have a little responsibility to speak about it. So that's the flag, and really those stories are so touching, and I think the situation is much more than the numbers. It's much more than what we see in the news, because it's really every life that is being influenced by any kind of conflicts, any kind of violence, any kind of bad things that are happening in many, many, many places. And I think that if a beautiful city like Graz is able to give home to someone like that, it's just awesome. And to make them be free, be in a way to don't be afraid about something happening to them or their family. It's a big thing to do. And I think that Graz does it in a very nice way. So I see this connection, really, that it's possible to give home, at least for a time, to someone who actually need it. And if you hear those stories, you know that those people, they actually need it so much. And there is another thing I want to say. I had also a conversation with people who came from Turkey, from Kurdish culture and Kurdish part, and the stories, they were so difficult. And I was really, I even felt ashamed that I'm in this position of artist who is just listening, like privileged artist who is doing the artwork and being like calm and happy and listening to the real life stories. So in a way, that's why I also feel like this responsibility to do something with those stories, because it is a responsibility, I think, for artists to do something, at least from my point of view. Okay, so I'm sorry if I speak too much. I will finish already. This is the last piece. It's the work table, so you can understand also a little bit how the work was, how was its development, a little bit how I was thinking about it, because of course when you see the result there is much thinking. Sometimes it's a frustration also, because you don't know how to do it, what to do it, why you do it. So, that would be all. I'm not very good in speaking, but I wanted to show you or make you feel what was my feeling about it. And again, I will finish already with, again, a big thanks, because for me, this was big, and it even like make this exhibition was so awesome, and I really was helped so much. I just said I need that, and I just get it. And this is not obvious. It's not like that usually in other residencies. It's just not like that. You are alone, you do it, or you don't do it. And here I was like, okay, thank you. No, so. So this is also awesome, and thank you for listening me. And yes, thank you.